Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Clockwork Cantina, episode 55. I am one of your hosts, Josh902, and this is our lovely co-host.
And I'm DT3. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Hope you're all having a good one.
Exactly. We sure do. Sorry about that little weird start. Apparently, I had myself muted in Discord and didn't even realize it. And it even threw me. So we got that fixed now. We good. We good now. Today, in our second half of the show, we're going to talk about homebrewing, and we'll get into that. But first off, let's talk about what we've been up to this past week. Daniel, what have you been up to this past week?
Been playing some games, been watching some stuff. Played some Fallout 76, a little bit more of that. That game has gotten a little bit more fun to play.
Has
but
it?
Although I think there are still some things where I'm like, but it's I feel like it's getting better personally.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say that.
I played Dead by Daylight a little bit. That was kind of fun. Played on Val stream.
Oh damn!
That was a good. Yeah, it was. It was a good time. Majid and I were making her crack up. It was pretty hilarious. She was dying. Let's see what else. Playing a lot more Animal Crossing. Actually, I was playing Animal Crossing before we started stream.
I also checked mine because I hadn't checked it yet today, just to see what was in my shops. My shop's getting upgraded tomorrow, apparently, though. So.
Hell yeah, man!
My Nook's Cranny.
That's awesome. I had my museum get upgraded today, so that's out of commission for me.
Oh damn!
And then I started a new project on my island, which I feel like I have a vision for it, but things take time and money in that game, so it's gonna take a little bit before it can get to the point I want it to be. But I started it, and I think it'll be cool when it's done. But yeah, I just other than that, I was doing the usual, like grabbing the fruits and selling them and grabbing everything that the fossils and all that other shit that's on the floor and everything.
I have so many pears to sell. I need to make at least 2 trips to somebody else's island to unload my pears.
I'll open my shop up later. I also want to visit other people's shops too, because I know like D'Angelo's like, I have samurai helmets. I'm like, what? Samurai helmets?
Helmets? Oh, you gotta buy me one, Deandra, or I'll come visit you, Deandra. I need one of those helmets.
Right.
Or all of the helmets, I should say.
Yeah, I got like all the sets, so I'm gonna get like one helmet of each. But yeah, I've just been pretty much doing that. And then what else? As far as like watching stuff, I finally caught up and finished that show that I talked about like weeks back, the Lego Masters show.
Oh damn!
It's kind of like a reality like contest show or whatever. Competition, yeah. That was kind of fun. I watched that. They had like a Star Wars episode. That was pretty cool. Fun show, man. It's just like a bunch of people.
I still need to check it out.
It's fun, man. It's really cool. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, it's good stuff. I watched the finale. It was pretty cool. And yeah, just I'd recommend that. It's a pretty fun show. What else did I watch? I watched. I want to say I caught up on Westworld, but I think I'm another episode behind. So
what happened in the last one you watched?
They were on the run after taking the dude.
Yes, you are an episode behind.
Gotcha. So yes, I am an episode behind.
Yeah,
and I'll be like 2 behind after tomorrow, I guess. So I'll be that's my constant struggle. It's like, oh, I'm catching up on a show. Nope, I'm like,
nope,
there's like another episode out, and there's like, oh, I'm always behind.
I know that feeling. Quite well.
But it is what it is. I'll try to catch up one of these days. And then I watched the first 2 episodes of the 1997-1998 Chicago Bulls The Last Dance, which was incredible.
Yeah, I heard you or saw you were saying it was pretty good in your Discord.
It is so good. I cannot wait to see the next 2 episodes tomorrow. It's incredible. Like if you're just like a fan of basketball in general, it's fucking amazing. And obviously Michael Jordan, MJ is the greatest of all time. So it's just fun seeing like you know, that whole final season of like, yo, there was a lot of, even though it was like their final run, there was a lot of shit going on, you know, because some sneezy ass motherfuckers in the front office, and
Of course.
you know, Scottie Pippen was underpaid for being like the second best player in the league at the time or whatever. Like all throughout the 90s, he was like super massively underpaid because unfortunately he signed a contract like early in his career for like a 7-year deal where he got so underpaid.
How much did they make back in the 90s?
I mean, it wasn't the salary cap wasn't as like crazy as it is today, because motherfucking the money they make nowadays is obscene.
Yeah, it is.
But like, yeah, back in the day, I I'm not sure what the average was, but I think like at one point Scottie Pippen, which you know was Michael Jordan's like second hand dude, right hand man, he was like the 122nd highest paid player in the league, and he was like arguably the second best player in the league after Mike, which is like it is bonkers, man. But anyway, I would recommend checking that out for sure if you guys are interested in, you know, 90 late, or actually I mean they go into like the 80s and stuff too, but it's a really cool documentary. It's called The Last Dance. You can watch it on the ESPN. I think ESPN Go, or I don't know, ESPN. Just look it up. It's called The Last Dance. I think it comes out every Sunday. Sorry, every Sunday. And it is first episodes are great. I'm looking forward to the next two. And I kind of saw a preview of some of the other stuff to come, and I don't know, man. It's gonna be rough when I see Kobe again. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough. But anyway, that's good stuff. That's pretty much all I've been up to, though. It's just, you know, shows and games, and I need to see if I watch another movie again this weekend, because I want to. Last week, you know, obviously we saw Onward, which, you know, we had that Onward episode for you guys who are keeping up here with what we're doing. But yeah, I want to try to watch some of the other things that I've missed out on, hopefully. But yeah.
Yeah. I've been sleeping a lot. I got sick last Sunday, which is why there was no frozen decimation. I ate something that definitely did not agree with me. It was a chicken, and it made me sick, and I was sick for like 3 days. I'm still not all the way better. I'm like 85%, I would say, about where you should be when you're not sick. And all I've done is sleep. Even right now, all I want to do is lay down on the bed and go to sleep. It's like, it sucks. But here we are, and mostly better. And speaking of D&D, we're gonna have a game tomorrow, so make sure to check that out.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop. Because we didn't play last week because I got sick the day we were supposed to play, and it was just like, oh, this is miserable.
Yeah. All I got to say is fuck the golden grain.
Yeah, seriously.
And
the fucking irony of it is not lost on me.
Man.
You gotta watch that chicken, bro. You gotta watch it. It's bad.
You sure do, man. You sure do.
I haven't played too much. I've played some XCOM 2 here and there. Like, all I've really done this week is sleep.
How could I forget? I played XCOM Chimera Squad. What the fuck?
How was it?
It's fun as hell, dude. I actually enjoyed the shit. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
You go ahead.
You mentioned XCOM 2, and I'm like, holy shit, I fucking streamed Chimera Squad yesterday.
Yeah.
How the fuck did I forget about that? It's fun, dude. I actually really like it so far, man.
I'm gonna buy it. I haven't gotten it yet. I was waiting for reviews. Reviews have come out. They're pretty good for it, so.
I like it, man. The new breaching thing I find it kind of neat. I like it, man. You got like a squad of people, and you're pretty much like saving a city instead of like XCOM 2. It's like the whole world. In this game, it's like you're focusing on like a city, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, dude. I really enjoy it so far. I really do, man. It's pretty damn fun.
I watched some of Ko's playthrough, and it looks good.
Yeah, it's a good time, dude. I really have been enjoying it myself. And then one last thing that I forgot as well is Clone Wars, Siege of Mandalore, Episode 2, The Phantom Apprentice. Just, chef's kiss. Fucking incredible, dude. Incredible. I cannot wait until you start watching this season, so you can just witness the fucking incredible, amazing, phenomenal shit that we're watching. It's so good. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Nah, I like if when we first started, I was like, what have I been up to? Because I haven't thought about it too much. And I figured once we started talking about it, like shit would just pop into our brains that we remembered from last week.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, you know. I'm just like I think I get everything down, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot
totally
about, like,
forgot.
a couple
Yeah.
more.
I've been working on some projects, some things I can't talk about, but hopefully we'll get to soon.
Oh shit.
I worked my ass off on a few things this past week. Probably did too much, actually. But as soon as I'm able to talk about those things, they will be talked about on the show and other places as well. So keep an ear to the ground, folks, and keep an eye out for tomorrow, Sunday. You may hear some things. I did watch a movie. I watched a movie after.
What'd you watch?
I watched Brave.
Oh.
We were talking about.
Yeah, cause you hadn't seen that one.
Yes.
After we watched Onward, yeah. What'd you think?
I'm a big fan. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's a good movie, dude. Yeah, I like it.
I
believe it's a 2012 movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's look.
I'm not 100% sure, but
since I watched it, I'll pull it up. Yeah, it's 2012.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I enjoyed it a lot. The voice cast was cool. The story was great. Merida's hair is the bomb, and I imagine it was quite hard to make it because it looks like it would be. And hats off to making probably the scariest bear in an animated movie I've seen since fucking like The Fox and the Hound, because that thing is terrifying. The one they show at the beginning. And I can't think of what it's fucking called right now.
Big ass bear. I don't remember.
It's got a name.
It's been a little bit since I've seen that movie.
Mordew. That's it. Mordew. It's the bear. And I like the story. I'm glad that it's a mother-daughter kind of story. I didn't know. I literally know nothing about Brave before I watched this.
It is a mother-daughter story, which is I think one of the reasons why Baba really likes that movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. That it's just kind of like in them and their relationship, and how it's a complicated thing. I really enjoyed it. It's a good movie. I'll probably watch it again. Actually, that's how much I enjoyed it. So,
nice.
The little brothers are hilarious. Her brothers, the three kids are crack me up. But yeah, Brave. It was a good movie. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool.
Let's see. I'm all caught up on Westworld till tomorrow. So I've watched all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone back and watched some Clone Wars episodes, some of the early ones.
Nice. Which ones did you watch?
I kind of started from the very beginning again and went through some of those in a chronological.
I was gonna ask chronological because that's the way to go, man.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was doing the chronological.
Chronological is the way, man.
And I watched some of those, and that was great. I even watched the movie, which I don't think I'd ever actually even seen the movie.
Really?
Yeah, which was pretty
good. Wow.
I
was about to ask what you think, but because a lot of people, that's like they don't like the movie, but they like the show.
It was fine.
Interesting.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, there's some really interesting things in the movie that I really like for sure. Yeah.
When did Clone Wars? What year did that start?
The movie 2008.
Yeah. See, it came. That show and movie both combined. Mm-hmm. They came at a time where my love for Star Wars had kind of waned a bit, and I wasn't as into it as much as I am now. Mm-hmm. So I missed a lot of those early stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it came out the same year that Force Unleashed did. Did you get that when it came out?
I did not. I didn't play Force Unleashed till much later. It just waned so much, and I don't even know why. Like I think if it wasn't a movie or like KOTOR, I wasn't into it for a hot minute. And then the new movies kind of came out and started coming out, and that kind of rekindled my love that had faded a bit for things. And then I found the guys, the Blind Wave guys, and they're such huge fans. It's hard not to be a fan when they're such huge fans too. Of anything that's Star Wars. So I had missed a lot of Clone Wars when it first started.
Mm.
But I like it. I like it a lot. So I wasn't watching a lot of TV in that time period either. I think that's another thing.
2008. I mean, 2008. I was into it because, Star Wars. I mean, because I've always have been. It never waned for me. But I remember getting Force Unleashed when it came out because it came out like if I'm not mistaken, it came out like close to my birthday that year. So I was like, that's what I'm getting for my birthday this year, Force Unleashed. I think it was like September something, 2008.
September 16th.
Oh, so it was after my birthday. So yeah, I definitely got it like as a late birthday gift for myself.
Yeah.
And then Clone Wars. I mean, I remember watching the movie in the theater. I think I did a double feature of that and The Dark Knight because those movies came out that year, both of them, and I was like, "Fuck it, dude! Batman and Star Wars, hell yeah, man!" And I really like both of them. I know again, Clone Wars, the movie, not the show, is a little weaker, and a lot of people don't like it as much. I think the thing that people don't really like is the whole like Sky Guy and what is Snips thing, like the little stupid nicknames they call each other.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that, and then they're like, well, Jabba, Rada the Hutt, Jabba's little son, like what the fuck happens to him? Because to be honest, to this day, I don't think we've ever seen Rada in anything else other than that fucking movie. Like not even the show he ever makes an appearance in again, which is kind of weird. They have this baby Hutt that never appears ever again.
I thought it was all fun. Like none of that stuff bothered me. If I had watched it when I was like 18, it may have, but it doesn't. It didn't really bother me. Like it's Star Wars, so
yeah, it didn't bother me either. But yeah, I mean, no, I like the movie. I like oh man. What's crazy to me is watching this new season and these past couple episodes. It is like cinematic like quality, like even more so than that movie that we were talking about. Like just the score, the way they like set it up at the beginning, just the animation has grown so much from from now like until or from 2008 until now. It's incredible, man. Like I can't wait till you can watch the new stuff because the new stuff is not that the old stuff isn't great, but like this new stuff is just like on a whole nother level, dude. You're like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
It was also it also just kind of came at a time where I just didn't watch TV much anymore. I really didn't until like Arrow came along, and that got me kind of back into watching stuff on television. And whereas before it was like, I'll just put on a movie and that'll be what I have on, kind of deal.
Gotcha.
And I was like that for years and years.
I'm trying to think of like for me what it was because I definitely watched Clone Wars, so that was like the one thing that like I had to watch because I mean I love Star Wars, so I watched that shit all the time. I remember watching it Cartoon Network whenever the fuck it would come out on TV, like I'm there for that, man. And then I think in 2010 was when The Walking Dead came out, so I was watching that. But I don't really remember much else that I was watching TV show wise back then. I'm trying to think, like 2008, 2009, 2010. I was definitely watching Clone Wars, but I don't remember what else. 2010 was Walking Dead. I didn't watch Game of Thrones until like a couple years ago, so I was late to that party.
Yeah, I think by the time I'd watched Game of Thrones, 3 seasons had already come out.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
And that's not just because I didn't have HBO, and I didn't have any other way to watch it at the time.
Yeah, so I'm trying to. I don't know what much else I would watch. Those were different times, man. The late 2000s, early 2010s.
I was like almost like a completely different person back then.
different times, man. Different times.
That's 2008. That's the year I turned 18, man. The fucking I was a completely different person than I am now. I've grown so much. Very proud of how much I've grown, rather. Wow, we went off on a tangent there. I like that. That was good.
We did, but that you know what? That happens from time to time.
Cool. Other than that, watching Brave, I haven't watched much of anything. I don't think I'll remember something like halfway through this episode, and I'll be like, oh, And then I'll be like, well, I can't bring it up now. It's too late.
You could always bring it up at the end. It's fine.
But yeah, let's move into the news, I guess. Then, is there very much news out there? I haven't kept my.
I got a few things. Yeah, I got a few things for each category. Not a whole lot, but
Gotcha. All right, hit me. What do we got?
All right. First piece of news is that you should definitely set up your two-step verification on your Nintendo account right now, because Nintendo confirmed that a shit ton of accounts have been hacked into. So if you haven't done that already, you gotta head over to Nintendo and fucking set that up. I set it up as soon as I didn't have it either, but until you were like, "Oh, I'm trying to set it up," I was like, "Shit, I might as well too," because shit, motherfuckers getting hacked over here and shit. So I'm good to go. I think you are too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Josh and I are both good to go. If you don't have two-step on your Nintendo account, I would recommend doing so. It's a really simple and easy thing to set up. Like, really, as long as you got like the Google Authenticator app or whatever on your phone,
which everybody, by this point, friends,
you should have it.
You should have it, because two-factor. You need to have two-factor on everything nowadays.
Basically. So yeah, I would definitely recommend adding two-step to your Nintendo account.
Absolutely.
Everybody's getting hacked and stuff, so definitely be careful with that.
Apparently it was tied to some, at least from what I've read and understand of it, it was tied to some of the old, like your 3DS stuff and Nintendo Network IDs and stuff like that. That kind of had it happen. That's the reason it happened. But yeah, go turn on your two-factor, guys. Go show.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to something else. Nintendo Animal Crossing New Horizons had an April free update.
Oh yeah.
In which they're doing it came out 2 days ago, April 23rd, where they added new island visitors such as Leaf, who's gonna have a garden shop where he sells like bushes and shrubs and whatnot, which is pretty cool because you can make like interesting little like, instead of using like walls, you could use like bushes or whatever, or shrubs.
Mm-hmm.
And then they added Jolly Red. He's he sells paintings and artwork and stuff. Some of it is real, some of it is fake, so you got to be careful with that. Try not to blow your money on fake paintings, because that would suck. And then they're doing like a museum expansion, which
oh my god,
they're adding the art for. Yeah, I'm excited about that. My museum is actually closed today in real life for me, because they're adding that tomorrow. And then they did this Nature Day thing where you can get like more miles until May 4th. Every day they're adding like one like times 5 like Nook miles thing that you have to do, and they're doing the May Day thing where there's a chance for you to get like one of these like crazy looking islands. And then apparently there was going to be a stamp rally, which I forgot that was even going to happen. So there it is. Oh, and then wedding season. Yeah, this is something right here. Do you want to take pictures of other little fucking animals getting married? I guess go for it, dude.
Well, that's a thing.
But it's cool. Yeah, it is a thing. I find it cool that they're like gonna be adding like updates like all the time, which is pretty dope. Looking forward to seeing what they add in the future, because I've heard that people have been data mining for things that they're gonna be adding, and there's some pretty interesting stuff that I've heard. But we'll see if it ends up happening. But this is the newest update here. Pretty cool. It's out now. If you're if you have the game or you're wanting to get it or whatever, that's something you can look forward to or play now, because it is out now.
Awesome.
Moving on to another trailer, unless you got anything else to
No,
add
I,
on to
I,
that.
I have nothing to throw on there.
We have a Sea of Thieves update, which we kind of talked about last week a little bit. But here's a little
Dang.
trailer for it. They're adding some stuff to this as well.
Ships of Fortune.
There's a lot of like PvP stuff in this trailer here. Like you'll see here in a little bit about the PvP stuff, but they're adding like new ships, new some of the new PvP game mode is like, I think before you'd have to like grab a piece of treasure and then like take it somewhere, but now it's like everybody's fighting for one piece of treasure and you have to take it to that one island, so it makes shit like even more chaotic, and everybody just fucking kill each other even harder now because everybody's fighting over one piece of thing and they gotta take it to that one island, and it's fucking nuts. Like I when I usually play this game, I'm not like super into the PvP stuff. Like I'll get down on a scrap with if motherfuckers are bugging me and the crew, but like I don't necessarily look for a fight if I don't have to. There's that cool little new wolf ship and sails and stuff here that's gonna be coming up that I'm pretty sure Phenom is gonna want to grab for his ship because he's all about that wolf stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're adding new cosmetics as well, like that. There it is. And then they're adding like cats as pets and like things like that. April 22nd, which I believe is already out. Yeah, it is out. But yeah, I think at like the 2-minute mark you can stop the video because that's like the rest of it is just like, I don't know, one of the like devs or whatever talking about stuff.
Gotcha.
But yeah, new update. They're adding more stuff to the emissaries and whatnot. Pretty cool. Something that I got to get back into at some point if we can assemble the crew. I know you said you were kind of interested in getting the game that's coming to Steam.
I might check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty fun when you got like a crew of people. I just wish that they'd let you have like a bigger crew, because sometimes in the past we've had like more than like, because the maximum crew size is 4 people, and like at times we've had like more than 4 people on who want to play, and it's like, well, it only lets you have 4. That's the max. But like the ship is like pretty big. Like I would say like 6 people would be kind of cool. But I understand it for PvP reasons. But like if you're just on your own, like like playing like PvE, then I feel like they should let you do like 6 people or more people. So yeah. But it's interesting, this new update. Again, I'm all for games that have updates all the time, like Animal Crossing, like Sea of Thieves, like whatever, like Battlefront 2, like any other game that has updates every so often. Very interesting, very exciting. We'll have to try some of those Sea of Thieves one in particular out at some point when we can assemble the crew. But moving on, that
cool.
Madden has announced, well, not they didn't announce it, but the team of the player announced the cover star for the cover athlete for the next Madden game.
Oh Lord.
And that's gonna be the Ravens' Lamar Jackson. He is gonna be the next cover athlete for the upcoming Madden game. And it's funny because EA Madden tweeted out like, when the Ravens leak your cover athlete, and then they had like a gif of him like on the bench or something, and it's I can't believe that the Ravens fucking leaked it, dude, without without EA doing it first. That's actually kind of funny, but it's gonna be Lamar Jackson,
I feel like it always gets leaked. There's always a leak when it comes to the cover athletes with Madden. I feel like
it's hilarious, man. It's absolutely hilarious. So I there's the whole Madden curse thing. So hopefully Although I guess Patrick Mahomes, nothing happened to him when he was the cover athlete, right? The end of the day, fucking the Chiefs ended up winning. So
yeah, they got the Super Bowl win.
So I guess the Madden curse was broken last year. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, one of the best young players in the NFL right now. He's gonna be the cover athlete for the next Madden game. I actually haven't played a Madden game. I want to say since like 07, dude. I haven't played a Madden game since like Madden 07.
I haven't played Madden in a long time.
I used to have fun playing them, but like I don't know. I just for like years now I've stopped buying like yearly sports games.
It was something I got just every once in a while. I wasn't like a yearly I have to have it kind of football.
I used to get the NBA 2K and the FIFA ones like every year, dude. Until I just stopped and I was like, I can't get these every year, man. Because it's basically like the same shit every year, but with updated rosters and like maybe a little bit better graphics. And then like sometimes you have game modes which are like stupid as fuck that I don't even want. I'm like, why are you adding this to the game?
Mm-hmm.
I do like the like story mode, like create your own character type thing. I do like that kind of thing.
Yeah, they've really improved on that since I've played.
But sometimes they do like in the past they've done some like really stupid, corny, dumb shit for the my story type things. Like I remember one year for like the basketball one, I was like, they got like Spike Lee to do like some I was like, this sucks, dude. Like no, no.
For me, the main reason I ever bought Madden was just like playing with my dad. Like we'd get like a sports game and we'd just play it together. We did it with baseball or we did it with football. It was
that's dope.
But I haven't in a very long time. I've kind of wanted to try to check one out because I haven't checked one out in so long.
Yeah, I used to get them like all the time, but I haven't in a while now. So yeah, but yeah, there it is. Lamar Jackson, cover athlete for Madden, the new one, Madden 21, I believe is gonna be the upcoming one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. From one sports game to another, WWE 2K is skipping 2020. They're skipping this year, so they're not coming out with a new one.
After that last game, they should skip every year.
Yeah, no WWE 2K21. 2K announced that 2K Games will not be releasing a new installment of their annual wrestling series in 2020. Apparently, they said that there's going to be some exciting news on the detail of the future of the WWE 2K franchise. But there is no game coming out this year. But apparently they have some news coming next week. So
the 2K20 was such a debacle, just full of massive bugs. I think we used to I got sent a few to you. Like, just look at this stupidity that's happening on this game.
I remember people just straight up trashing that game.
And 2K. Really, they shouldn't even be making the goddamn games anymore, in my opinion. But whatever. So, you have my thoughts on it. Skip every year from now on, 2K. Do us all a favor.
Oh man, that's funny. But there you go. There you have it. They're not doing it this year. So
also blacklist me. I don't give a fuck.
Alrighty then. You got any gaming? You got any more gaming news? Because that's all I got.
No, let's see. I'm gonna look real quick. NVIDIA has announced company-wide raises, and they promise no layoffs during all the things that are going on in the world at the moment. So, a little bit of good news if you work for NVIDIA. I like that, so I like some good news. Doom Eternal's officially released soundtrack is a poorly mixed mess that composer Mick Gordon barely even had a hand in, apparently. So, they apparently Bethesda or whoever is in charge of doing the music shit really fucked up over there. How do you fuck this up? You have Mick Gordon. The man made the last soundtrack so good. I don't understand.
So, what happened then?
Let's look at the actual article here. This is from criticalhit.net, and it says, Doom Eternal may rip and tear through your eyeballs until the deed is done, but the audio part of this gore-heavy package is an unstoppable train of face-melting heavy metal and the tastiest of guitar licks. A dynamic explosion of sound that does Doom 2016 proud, composer. Mick, I own your eardrums now. Chords, melody of mayhem is one of the ages. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see if I can find the part where it actually talks about this. But it's not the best version of the soundtrack that there's be. While it definitely sounds fine on the first listen, something seems a bit off. There's a certain layer of polish that's not present. This is just on the physical soundtrack, by the way.
Okay. Oh, the physical one. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The one in the game is still okay, I believe. While it definitely sounds fine on first listen, something seems to be off. There's a certain layer of polish not present. A clash of instruments competing for a spotlight space, like early 2000s new metal band members attempting to outdo each other in the recording studio. There's a reason for that. None of these submitted tracks were mixed by Mick Gordon. There's a tweet here. Mick Gordon is a far more. This is from Animal Crossing's Eternal Horizon. The Matt ACDC guy on Twitter.
Animal Crossing Doom crossover account or what?
Yeah, and he tweeted out that Mick Gordon is a far more talented audio engineer than me. It's not even close, and that's what makes this especially frustrating. I expect much better from him. Again, the music itself is phenomenal, but this mix on the official soundtrack is frankly terrible. And Mick Gordon replied to this tweet saying, I didn't mix those and wouldn't have done that. You'll be able to spot the small handful of tracks that I mixed, Meat Hook, Command and Control, etc. The AC/DC guy went into detail on just how poorly mixed the majority of Doom Eternal's tracks are, highlighting the lack of dynamic range and lack of harmony overall. He's got another tweet here that's got I'm gonna post this article in chat, by the way. That way you guys can see the tweets and the stuff he's talking about. I probably should have done that from the beginning. I apologize. He says, here's a comparison between the original BFG division from Doom 2016's official soundtrack on the left versus the BFG 2020 remix on Eternal's soundtrack from today. Notice how the wavelengths in BFG 2020 form a nearly perfect straight bar versus the original, which has more definition. Now, maybe you're unfamiliar with audio mixing and you're thinking, okay, there's clearly a visual difference, but how does that translate to what I'm hearing? Basically, when there's more definition in the wavelengths, there's greater dynamic range between the instruments. In the case of music, dynamic range gives instruments more breathing room, so to speak. While there are exceptions in most cases, you don't want instruments to compete with each other for dominance. You want them to harmonize together to create new and interesting sounds. The gist of all of this is that the compression has resulted in every instrument playing at the same level of volume, creating a crowded audio space. You've got a soundtrack that is essentially fighting against itself instead of working with each unique sound to create a total package of savage awesomeness. Even worse, this may be the last time Mick Gordon ever works with Bethesda.
I mean, fucking if they did that, yeah, I would imagine so.
Somebody sent a DM to Mick on something, and it says, "Yo, Mick, are you going to be you're going to be there if id decides to work on another Doom game?" And Mick Gordon replied, "Doubt we'll work together again." The last of this article completes with, "It's a damn shame Doom Eternal's soundtrack in all of its uncompressed glory is a work of art. Heavy metal magic that pushes your heart rate up and makes you sweat bullets as you weave a bloody path through the hordes of hell. Gordon's work perfectly complements one of the best games of the year. It's a soundtrack which deserves better. Remix, and remaster until it is done, Bethesda." So, in the game, it's fine. The actual soundtrack that they released, and I think they released it with the collector's edition. I'm not 100% sure on that. I heard there was some stuff about that, but I haven't double-checked. Overall, that seems like the biggest takeaway there is that, oh my god, Mick Gordon might not work on the next Doom if there is another one. Which would be terrible, because he's, so good. What a waste.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine him wanting to work with them again if they did that to him.
I can't believe they did that. Why? How do you fuck that up? You're so
Yeah, but
good at.
why though? What? I don't know, man.
I have no clue why, but yeah, that's a thing. Uh, Bummer. Moving on. Um, Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to the Xbox Game Pass. So if you have Xbox Game Pass, you get to play Red Dead if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. It's awesome.
It is one of the best games of all time.
I just watched somebody complete a playthrough the other day, and it
It
made me
is.
made me want to have another go.
It is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yes, 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 indeed.
Fucking masterpiece. I definitely recommend it to everybody if you haven't played it already.
Dice announces the end of future content for Battlefield 5. June update to be its last.
I did hear about that.
So that'll be the last of that if you're into Battlefield. I haven't been into Battlefield in a hot minute.
The last one I played was probably 4.
I don't. Let me look and see. I get them all mixed up now because there's so many of them. You know what I missed? I missed Bad Company. Did you play Bad Company?
I didn't.
Bad Company was like the bomb. It had an awesome story mode. Yeah, it was just fun. I played so much of it back in the day. They should do another Bad Company. Death Stranding PC launch is delayed to July 14th. I don't think any of us really care, but that's a thing.
For what?
Death Stranding PC launch.
Oh yeah. It's never really a game that interested me, to be honest.
Nah. Walking simulator. Do. More rumors of some Horizon Zero Dawn stuff.
I mean, I'm waiting for him to come out with number 2, man.
Supposedly they got ideas for a trilogy, starting with a number 2. So,
well, I mean, that's a good way to start. I mean, they have the first one, so they might as well go ahead and
go all out. I mean, I'm just what I played of it, I loved. I'm just kind of waiting for a PC release at this point to really get back into it. If you were into Guild Wars back in the day, like I was, they're having their 15-year anniversary. I think right now, so you can check that out. I want to mention that because I was huge into Guild Wars when it first came out. I had some of the great PvP style games, and it's really cool. So, other than that, that's all I got for gaming news. You want to move on to television news?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. All right. So, first piece of TV news here. I have quite a bit of Star Wars news here, actually, but we're going to start off with the thing that I was talking about earlier, which is the Last Dance documentary. It got big ratings.
I imagine so.
It got big ratings. Let's see. The debut of the 10-hour series, the most watched ESPN documentary ever. The opening 2 hours, which chronicles Jordan's career, fame, and legacy while focusing on the 97-98 NBA season, averaged 6.1 million viewers Sunday on ESPN and ESPN2. The 2 episodes are the most watched ever for ESPN documentary content in a sports-starved landscape. The debut episode at 9 p.m. Eastern averaged 6.3 million viewers across the 2 networks. ESPN aired an uncensored version, while ESPN2 bleeped out rough language. Most of the people stuck around for the episode 2, which drew 5.8 million viewers. 2 hours averaged 3.5 million viewers in the key ad demographic of adults 18 to 49, equivalent to about a 2.7 rating, way ahead of anything else on TV on a Sunday night. It was originally supposed to air in June to go along with the end of the NBA season, but when Corona shut everything down, they moved up the date of it to this past Sunday. But yeah, it's really good. Like I said, the first episodes are out. The next 2 are coming out, I think, tomorrow. And then I think they'll go. I think the plan is to have 2 every Sunday, but we will see.
How many episodes is it total?
10.
10.
And there's 2 out already. So the next 2 are coming out I think tomorrow. So yeah, it's really good. I would definitely recommend it to sports fans out there, especially if you're into like basketball and you know the 90s and 80s basketball and stuff like that. But yeah, really, really, really good stuff. I really enjoyed the first episodes. Let's see. All right, moving on to some little bit of Star Wars news here. Actually, wait, before we go into Star Wars, speaking of we're talking about Westworld earlier. Speaking of Westworld, it's been renewed for season 4.
Oh yeah.
So season 4, I mean, this is it's one of like the shows everybody's talking about right now. So of course it'll get renewed. It was a matter of when, not a matter of if for this show. So they finally got that going on. What I didn't know is that seasons 1 and 2 have 10 episodes each, but this only has 8.
Yes, this one's a shorter season.
Damn, I didn't even know that. So there's gonna be shit. How many episodes are we into it then? I didn't even know.
We're on episode 5.
Ooh, it's almost over then.
Let me look. Let me double check.
But yeah, I've been enjoying this season for the most part. How do you feel about this season?
I'm enjoying it so far. I am.
I gotta catch up, but yeah, it's been I thought it's been pretty solid so far.
I'm incorrect. Definitely. The Sunday will be episode 7.
Oh, well then it's almost over.
Yes. I
did not realize that. I thought it was 10 episodes. I didn't know it was just gonna be 8 this year. Oh shit. Well then.
Yeah.
You learn something every day.
I enjoy it a lot. I don't think anything will ever be as magical as that first season. That first season of Westworld was something else. But I think the season's better than the second season, and I really enjoy it so far. So, you can definitely tell though that they put a lot of money in the season. That might be why it's shorter.
Yeah, how do you feel about Aaron Paul's addition to the show?
I think he's great. To be honest.
Yeah.
He's got some chops.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think he's been a pretty solid addition to it. Curious to see where they're gonna go with his character.
I think they haven't done much. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just with what's happening in the current story. I need to catch up, so obviously I'm a little behind. But yeah, it's his character is gonna be. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it. But yeah,
I feel like they haven't done much with Jeffrey Wright this season. Bernard, but
yeah,
he hasn't. I feel like he hasn't been in it too much. So I'm curious to see if these next 2 episodes he's gonna be in it more or what. What's the deal? It really feels like Dolores really took center stage, like even more so than even before, and she was pretty important before. So it'll be interesting to see.
Definitely.
But yeah, I like it a lot, and hopefully season 4. I don't know where it's gonna go because the way they're setting things up, but
yeah, we gotta wait and see how season 3 ends, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I am enjoying it so far, so yeah, cool.
Awesome.
So now we go into the Star Wars things. I have the rest of this thing is just all Star Wars because
gotcha.
we have a bunch of Star Wars news for some reason this week. The Mandalorian season 3 is already in the works at Disney Plus. So we don't have season 2 out yet, obviously, but it's not uncommon for them to work on the next thing before the current thing is even out. They do that all the time, especially with the animated stuff, because animation takes forever. So they're always like a step ahead of where of where we are currently. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They've been writing season 3 for a while now, is what Jon Favreau said. And the art department, led by Doug Chang, has already been creating concepts for season 3 for the past few weeks. They started pre-production and are looking into further adventures for The Mandalorian in season 3. They began working on season 3 on April 20th. Apparently the design department requires a huge lead time, which is why they have started to grind really early on. Obviously they wrapped season 2 already. They're like, working on, the post and all that stuff. And I'm glad they managed to wrap up filming and everything before the Rona and everything happened.
Yeah.
But they've been teasing season 2 here and there. We've been talking about it here every week too, because there's always some kind of news that happens from it, like casting news and rumors of who's gonna appear and whatnot. But yeah, very, very exciting. I can't wait to see season 2. Can't wait to see season 3 when that comes out. Well, this makes me wonder. It makes me curious. How many seasons do they have planned for this? Because I kind of want this show to go on for a long time, but at the same time, I don't want it to be one of those shows that just goes on forever and doesn't know when to end.
Yeah.
So I kind of want them to do obviously I always want the creators to take their story wherever they want to take it and make it go for as long as they want it to go on for. But I kind of said the same thing about Walking Dead, and look at Walking Dead now, dude. I just
I think.
And yes, I know it's gotten better at people, but I dropped off of it anyway. Go ahead.
I think if it was me, I'd probably aim for 5, maybe 6 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What if you had a guess?
See,
what would you hazard a guess?
That seems like a good number, but at the same time, like I want more than that,
I know,
because I love this shit so much, dude.
It's so good.
It is like literally my favorite piece of fucking anything in like a long time, dude. Like certainly my favorite Star Wars since Rogue One.
It's probably one of the first shows in a while where I've been like, I can't wait. I'm like sitting there just like, is it up yet? Can I watch it? Can I watch it yet? Is a new episode out yet? Can I watch? You know what I mean? Like just fucking anticipating it so hard.
Yeah, man. It's waiting I remember waiting every Friday, being like fucking midnight. I'm like, is it up yet? And then sometimes I'd be like, motherfucker, it's like fucking 12:30 and this shit ain't up yet. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah,
man?
exactly right.
Where is it?
You're killing me.
12:41. It's not up yet.
Come on, I need that hit. Come on.
Like apparently sometimes, yeah, it would be up at like 12:41. Like not even it wouldn't be up at like 12:41. Meanwhile, people on like mobile are already watching. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm on like PC trying to watch this shit. But that's kind of how Clone Wars has been for me. Like I'm like every day, every Friday at midnight. I'm like, all right, is it up yet? There it is. Time to watch it. But again, that's just because I love Star Wars so much, and I'm all about it. And this arc has been, like I mentioned earlier, has been incredible. But yeah, I can't wait for Mandalorian. It is absolutely my favorite Star Wars thing since Rogue One. One of my favorite Star Wars things ever. It's crazy to me how much more I care about these characters in 8 episodes than I ever cared about the sequel trilogies and characters in like 3 movies. It just shows you the like difference of like, I don't know, but again, the sequels have a lot of issues, and making us like not really. I say us as in those of us who don't like are not like huge fans of the sequels, but obviously there's people who are.
Mm-hmm.
But like for those of us who are not like super huge on them, like they just. There's a lot of things that they failed to do that The Mandalorian like easily does. Like for me, I think the Star Wars sequels try very hard to act like and be Star Wars, whereas I feel like The Mandalorian is easily without even I don't know if without even trying is the right word, but like easily, like without a doubt, so very Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just feels like Star Wars, like from like all of it. Like it's incredible, man. But anyway, can't wait for season 3. The team of Filoni and Favreau is they are what we need in Star Wars right now. So I'm
Absolutely.
very, very happy. I was very happy with season 1. Can't wait for season 2 and season 3 now. So
pretty much agree with everything you just said when it comes to The Mandalorian. Absolutely.
Speaking of Mandalorian, we talked about last week how they're going to be doing a documentary series for it, and they dropped a trailer for it. So we can check this out here. There it is. It's pretty cool. I love watching behind the scenes stuff for Star Wars because it is so very, for a lack of a better term, very fucking fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
It is so interesting to see how they get shit done for these movies and shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so cool, man. Like I love it so damn much. And seeing how they do stuff here and for this show, like in this little trailer here, is so awesome. Like how they have like the screens and stuff in the background, and you get to see the child as the little puppet.
And the things I love about these are usually just their mindsets when they talk about the decisions they made and why. Which is because it looks like they're having a round table there of discussion.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have a director's round table, which is fucking cool. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be an 8-part docu series for season 1. Very, very, very much looking forward to this. They're gonna air it on Star Wars Day, which is about a week and 2 days from now. From this recording. So very, very excited about that. I cannot wait, man. Cannot wait.
Hype.
It's very cool. I want to hear like the process of like. I mean, they kind of talk about here in this trailer a little bit, but like using IG-11 and to go along with the Mandalorian, because obviously it's very very similar to like having Boba Fett and IG-88, and just. I want to see Gina film her fight scenes and like look at there's a fucking Mandalorian Death Watch there from the fucking the flashbacks and stuff.
I was just sitting here thinking, man, it must be cool to be that guy and get to be in fucking Star Wars and get to be the fucking whatever Mandalorian fucking dude,
right?
In armor and be on. How hype would you? I'd be fucking hype as shit, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, it'd be the best. But yeah, May the 4th. This year, this week, not this week, in a week and a half, or no, a week and 2 days is what I said, right?
Coming soon.
Coming really a week and 2 days. I'm all over the place because I'm so excited for this. That's why. I really can't wait. We're getting like the Clone Wars finale, I think, and then like this the same day, which is not the same day, but like the same weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, I can't wait, man. I seriously cannot wait. It's so fucking good. Anyway, moving on to other Star Wars stuff. The Cassian Andor Rogue One prequel has cast 2 more people to the show.
Oh damn.
Denise Go, I think is how you pronounce her last name. It's Denise Gough. No, Gough. Who? Guess who she is, by the way?
Who?
She is the voice, the voice actress for Yennefer in The Witcher 3.
Oh.
So this actress, she's going to be a part of the Cassian Andor show, the Rogue One prequel. And in addition to her, they're bringing back a character who's already been an actress who's already been in Star Wars, Genevieve O'Reilly, who some may know as Mon Mothma from Revenge of the Sith and Rogue One. So Mon Mothma obviously is makes sense to come back to the show. I'm very curious who Denise is going to be. Obviously, I just mentioned that she was the voice of Yen in The Witch 3.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a live action show, so I'm curious who she's going to be in this. Because I don't know. Maybe she'll be another rebel. Maybe she'll be I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who she is.
She's been in some live action stuff. She's been in like a few different things. So
yeah, she's been in. Yeah, she has been actually.
she could be a droid if she did something with her voice, but
Yeah, she
I
could
guess.
be, but we'll see. We'll see. There are no details for her character yet. But yeah, really cool. I really like that Mon Mothma's coming back. I think Mon Mothma is like really key in this time period.
We need her in more things.
This, by the way, the series is supposed to take place 5 years before Rogue One. So if Rogue One takes place right before A New Hope, this show is going to be 5 BBY, which is 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, 5 years before A New Hope. Which puts it at an interesting time period, because for those of you like me who are huge Star Wars nuts and are knowledgeable about the timeline of Star Wars, 5 BBY is the same year that Rebels starts, this TV show. So it's like the same year that like Ezra joins the Rebels crew. It's the same year that Jyn Erso is abandoned by Saw Gerrera. Some interesting things happen this year. So yeah, the first season of Rebels happens here, and interesting things. Apparently, it's the same year that Beaumont Kin, who is the famous character from the last what's the fucking the Rise of Skywalker, fucking what's his name, Mary from Lord of the Rings. That's the year he was born too. Apparently, Beaumont Kin. So yeah, 5 years before Rogue One. Interesting point in the timeline. I have not been the most excited for this show, but it is Star Wars, so I am still like, even though I'm not like super hype about it, I'm still like, it's
Pretty
still Star
interested.
Wars, so
Yeah.
like I'm still interested in it, but I'm not. It's not like the most exciting thing for me. But I will say that these casting announcements have kind of made it a little bit more interesting. Like,
Yeah.
not only are they adding Mon Mothma to this, Denise Go, but last week we also talked about them adding Stellan Skarsgård and Kyle Soller too. So they're building up the cast here, which is pretty neat, pretty interesting. I kind of hope they give it a name already, just so I don't have to keep calling it the Cassian Andor show or the Rogue One prequel. Like, just give it a fucking name already, man.
What would
That's
you call
my
it?
only.
You give it a name. What would you call it?
I don't know, because I don't know what the hell. I don't know what they're like. I don't know if it's gonna be like an actual Rogue One prequel or if it's gonna be the Cassian Andor show. You know what I mean? Like that. There's a distinct thing between the two. Like
The Cassian Andor show sounds like fucking the Carol Burnett show.
yeah, right. Like something out of the '80s, like the Mary Tyler Moore show or whatever, right? Yeah. I mean, like, I was just saying that as like an example. Like I don't know like what the focus of the show is gonna be, so I wouldn't know what to call it yet.
I don't know. I hope it's. I imagine it's gonna be dark and gritty, right? Like I feel like they kind of set him up for that.
I feel like it's gonna be like, you remember at the beginning of Rogue One when we first meet Cassian and he like straight up shoots the dude.
Instantly makes him super interesting right off the bat.
Yeah. Like if we see, I feel like we're gonna see more of that in this show.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I want to see them get into Cassian's separatist backstory too, because he grew up as a separatist in a separatist family, so he was not on the Republic side of things during the Clone Wars. And he did mention in the movie Rogue One that he's at a certain point he goes, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old or whatever. So he's been fighting the stormtroopers or clone troopers for a long time. Which I kind of hope they get into that, because I don't know why they didn't put that in the movie, man. Like they mentioned it in like one of the books or something that he was a separatist. I'm like, why wouldn't you put that in the movie? He's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I love shit like that, man. So yeah, hopefully they get into that. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit more enthusiastic about this show. But yeah, my only thing is just give it a name already. Whatever you guys are calling it, just give it a name. So I don't have to keep calling it the Rogue One prequel or the Cassian Andor show or the fucking Cassian and K2 Variety Hour or whatever the fuck you want. Whatever the hell, The last piece of Star Wars TV news that I have here is that there is a new Star Wars series in the works. from Russian Doll co-creator Leslie Headland. The plot and everything is, obviously under wraps, but sources say it is a female-centric series that takes place in a different part of the Star Wars timeline than other projects. Headland is attached to write and serve as the showrunner of the series. So we don't know how much about this, obviously, because it just broke, like, I think I want to say a few days ago, the 22nd. So yeah, it broke on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I have not seen Russian Doll yet. The show. I know it's a Netflix show. It's critically acclaimed though, and I hear good things about it, but I haven't seen it yet. I have it on my list. I've been wanting to check it out. This makes me want to check it out even more now that I know that she's doing a new Star Wars show. The thing that I find interesting is that besides it being a female centric thing, is that it's going to take place in a different part of the Star Wars timeline. So what this tells me is that we're not going to be in the same old, like, in the Skywalker saga timeline, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to be in the episodes 1 through 9 timeline. We're going to be somewhere different, you know what I mean? Which is exciting.
Do you think really old or far in the future?
I think if anything, they probably go back in time.
Go back. They usually go back.
Because honestly, I don't know if they want to go too far into the future, because that kind of like limits on what they can do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Although if they go like far into the future, then they'll be okay. But I don't know. I feel like if anything, they'll go back, because they are doing the High Republic stuff now, which is 2,000 years before the episode 1. So I feel like if anything, they'll go into the past. How far back into the past, I don't know. But that is interesting. I do find it interesting that we are going to be doing a show that is in a different part of the timeline. But there's a video here in this article from Variety that they interviewed her as she was on the blue carpet of The Rise of Skywalker, about like hypothetically being like, what if you directed a Star Wars movie or something? Like, do you have ideas or something like that? And it's interesting how now she's going to be doing the show. So again, I don't know. The thing that I find interesting is that she says she does not have a favorite Star Wars movie. She just loves all of Star Wars. So, because most of the time you ask somebody and they're like, oh, my favorite movie is Empire, or my favorite movie is this or that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, I don't have a favorite movie. Star Wars is just Star Wars, So, and she says that she's had ideas in her head for Star Wars stuff since she was, young. So, we'll see. I'm curious. This makes me want to watch Russian Doll even more now that I know she's working on some Star Wars stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to report back after I watch Russian Doll and see what I think about that.
Let me know if it's any good. I haven't checked it out yet either.
Yeah. I hear nothing but good things, but I haven't seen it yet. So I will definitely check that out at some point.
Cool.
That's all I got for TV though. If you got anything. If not, we can move on to the movie stuff. I don't have a whole lot for movie stuff either. Just a couple things here.
I do not believe I have anything for le television.
That's fine. We can just move on.
Yeah, there's nothing. Other than, I feel like we already knew this, but maybe we didn't. That Castlevania Season 4 is already in the works. Did we already know that?
I think we did. But
I think we did then. For some reason it's on here again.
Yeah. Either way, Castlevania makes sense.
Check it out. I still haven't watched it. I need to.
Oh, you got to. It's I like that one. I like that. If they made more, if Netflix did more animated shows like that, like for other properties, like if they made like a Zelda show like that, obviously not as like bloody and gory and like sexual and stuff, but like,
oh man, I'd be in that Zelda show.
I mean, a lot of people would, but like all I'm saying is like, if they did it like kind of like not necessarily in that style or vein, but like if they did it similar to that, like the animation style, like if they did it like that, that'd be fucking sick, dude.
Prepare for Link, like you've never seen him before.
Right, he's over there fucking.
He's in bed with like 4 chicks.
Yeah, right. Oh, Jesus. I showed them my Triforce or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, but if they did that with more properties, that'd be sick. Like I'm really looking forward to the new the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe show that we talked about in the past.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that, dude. That's gonna be sick. The voice cast for that show is incredible. But anyway, moving on, I guess, to the movie news. This isn't necessarily movie news, but I thought it was fun. James Gunn tweeted out Meredith Quill's complete awesome mix.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is apparently a master list of songs that he considered for the soundtracks of Guardians 1 and 2. And he says, I'm not promising I won't use these in future films, but with, the quarantine going on, he's like, let me just put out Peter Quill's mom's music list. So if you guys are interested in that, you can look it up. I posted a link for those of you who are here live in the chat. It's a Spotify playlist with a bunch of music that may or may not appear in the future Guardians movie. So there it is. Some interesting stuff there if you're a fan of music.
Music. I always think of that. That moment from King of the Hill where fucking Dale's like, music. Just music. Do you remember that episode?
I don't think I do.
It's the episode where he's in the mall, or he's in like the store, he thinks Chuck Mangione is in the store. And like living
Chuck Mangione.
Yeah, do you remember that? Like they hire him as an exterminator. This is such a weird thing to talk about.
Fucking King of the Hill, man.
Yeah, King of the Hill. He thinks Chuck Mangione's in the store. And it turns out he's actually right. So spoilers for King of the Hill. Chuck Mangione is indeed in the store.
Okay. Yeah, we're King of the Hill spoilers, yeah. If you haven't seen it, oh man, Chuck Mangione.
Chuck Mangione, the greatest
yeah.
Oh
shit, dude.
God! I don't. That episode at that moment just sticks in my mind for some reason. I think because it's just so ridiculous. Chuck Mangione.
So we're gonna have a Chuck Mangione episode of the podcast.
Oh, King of the Hill episode. I'm down.
King of the. God damn it, Bobby.
God, that boy ain't right.
I sell propane and propane accessories.
If you've never seen King of the Hill, younger generation, go do yourself a favor.
King of the Hill's good stuff, man.
Go watch it and figure.
It's a fun, stupid show.
And
man.
be prepared to hate Peggy Hill a hell of a lot, because Jesus Christ, I can't stand her. She's so annoying. Anyway, that was weird.
Moving on.
Yes.
The Venom sequel has been delayed to 2021, and it has an official title now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it is or no?
I did, but it slipped my mind at the moment.
Okay, so Venom: Let There Be Carnage will now come out June 21st, 2021. It was supposed to come out on October 2nd this year, but it's been bumped to 2021 in the summertime. So Venom: Let There Be Carnage is the name. What
do you think?
I think it's not bad. I feel like I think Majin was saying like it would have been better if they did like Maximum Carnage or something like that.
I'd be like Carnage Unleashed or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a fine name.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think it's.
I'm not crazy over it. I'll just be honest, but it's okay. I probably can't do much better. I think it's kind of hard to do it. Make a title.
A lot of people, a lot of studios have been like shifting their movie release dates and stuff. As we all know, everything has been getting pushed back and whatnot, and it's something that obviously we know has been happening for a while now. Is that everything is getting pushed back, and that's going to continue for I don't know how long. Hopefully not much longer, but stuff's getting pushed. So this year is getting fucked, dude.
You know what's gonna be? This is gonna be over, and we're gonna have the longest dry spell of literally nothing. Really? And it's gonna be weird.
How bad would it suck if this stuff ends like next month or whatever? Hopefully it's over like next month. I mean, I don't know if it is or not.
We would love for it to be, but
if it's over next month and then like fucking all right, we have nothing coming out for the rest of the year. It's like shit,
What am I gonna do?
right?
Uh, but it
No,
makes you
but
think about how like throughout the year you're hit with thing after thing after thing after thing, right? Like it's almost nonstop of things coming out. There's almost never a dry
because
spell.
they all like plan it out with each other too. It's like all right, like during this like for Star Wars, like when the sequels are coming out, people were like, well, fucking Star Wars is coming out in December. Let's put something like not in December, or if we do, like at the end of December or at the beginning of December, because we don't want to bump into that Star Wars money, you know? Because
Yeah,
Star Wars is going to be taking our money if we fucking put it near that. Or like for like May, the Avengers, or April, it's like, well, Avengers is coming out this month. We gotta either do it at the beginning of the month or fucking move it to something else, you know? So
it's funny too because I've never really thought about it before all this happened, but now I'm thinking about it more.
yeah, man, no, it's yeah, for sure. My thing is that I saw a report where like people were saying that even after this is over,
Mm-hmm.
they're still gonna like just stay at home and watch movies and stuff instead of going out to the theater and stuff. Which that's gonna hurt movie theaters, man. That's gonna hurt
Yeah.
movie theaters real bad, dude. Like I feel like they were already kind of on a decline, like that kind of stuff. But this thing is like expediting the rapidness of like just movie theaters not being as popular as they used to be, you know?
It may be the
Which
end.
I kind of hope not.
No.
I hope not. I like going to the theater, man. I really do like going to the theater. I don't go often, but when I do go, it's a awesome time. I love being. I know it's not a some you don't want to hear me say this, but I like being in with large crowds of people watching movies. Okay, because it's a fun time when you have a great crowd
Yeah.
in the theater, man, and you're
I
all
don't
reacting to
disagree.
it and watching it. You know.
Watching Infinity War and Endgame in theaters with crowds of people was awesome.
It's one of the best experiences, man. Like I always go back to 2015. I was at Star Wars Celebration. Going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but
Go
I
ahead.
always
We've had a
remember
few.
April 2015 or April 2015. Uh, Anaheim over here in LA. I was at Star Wars Celebration, which was the first Star Wars celebration under Disney, I believe, since Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the year that we got the Chewie We're Home trailer
Yes.
for The Force Awakens. I was in the room with all of those people that got to see that trailer for the first time. And let me tell you, the energy of that room is unlike any. It's one of the like experiences that I'll remember like forever, dude. Like
Yeah.
it was at a different time in the it was a different time in the universe. No, it was a different time in Star Wars because up until that point, the last Star Wars thing we'd gotten was Clone Wars a few years like in the before that. Like it had ended like a couple of years before because Disney bought Lucasfilm and they canceled it and all that stuff. We had not had a movie since Revenge of the Sith in 2005. So it had been 10 years since we had a Star Wars movie in theaters. And it just felt like it was just a different time, dude. Like it's not like nowadays where people are fighting over shit all the time about Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
Like everybody has their own opinions about it now, but in 2015 everybody I feel like was on the same team. Like Star Wars is back, dude. Like we're getting a new movie this year with Force Awakens and Celebration was that year was incredible, man. Like I'm always gonna love that celebration because it was just it's it's gonna be hard to top the anticipation of the Force Awakens, man. Because again, it's been 10 years since anything Star Wars or a movie, I should say. But like just being in that room with all those people watching that trailer on that big ass screen, just looking around and seeing people like fucking cry and like lose their minds and like it was it's not watching a movie in a theater, but it's like you're still in a room in a dark room with a big ass screen watching something that no one has ever seen for the first time. And then they were like, after it was over, they're like, how about we watch it again? And we're like, fuck yeah, let's watch it again, dude. We saw the trailer twice in a row, and it was just, again, it's just one of those experiences that like you just never forget, man. Like I just simply incredible, dude. Like I want to go back to that because it was a good time, man. But yeah, those are the types of experiences and feelings that like you don't get like all the time, man. And I feel like going to the theater is a little is that to a lesser extent, because that was just like, I think it's like once in a lifetime, that thing that the experience that I was talking about, because it's hard to top that Star Wars hype for Force Awakens, like I said. But going to a theater, every time you go to it, watching the movie for the first time with people, like I'd imagine those, like I don't go to those midnight showings for movies, or like, I guess nowadays it's like the 7 p.m. ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the Thursday nights at 7 p.m. So like I don't go to those. But I'd imagine that like you get the hardcore of the hardcore people. Like for like, let's say the end game, like the hardcores were lined up at 7 p.m. on Thursday night whenever that movie came out, right?
Yeah.
They were there. You're gonna get the absolute best crowd you can get, you know? Like if you're not like not being at the premiere, because obviously the premiere, those enough who are lucky to go to the premieres for movies, that's probably like the best crowd you can get. But like going to opening night Thursday 7 p.m. for like an Avengers type movie or anything like that, that's like, that is an experience right there, man. That is some good shit. I remember one of my best movie experiences was watching The Winter Soldier in 2014 when that came out, because I was in a crowd of people who didn't know that Bucky was going to be the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're not like me or other people who know from the comics or from like, you know, the games or whatever that he was going to be, you know. So yeah, I just, that I always like, in terms of like movie experiences, Winter Soldier was one of my favorite ones because that shit was dope, dude. But anyway, I went off a little bit of a tangent. Point is, hopefully movie theaters don't go away, because it is a wonderful experience watching something with a group of other people for the first time. You have a shared experience with all these strangers that, you know, you guys will remember for like, you know, however long you want to remember it. You know, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. Movie going and theater watching, or watching stuff in theaters, I should say.
Yeah.
So hopefully, beyond this Corona COVID-19 shit, theaters will still hold up and you know, hang around, and all that stuff, because I feel like movie theaters are important, for that reason, for the reasons that I was saying.
A good sense of community.
Yeah.
Being together. Yep. Movies. Going to the movies is like it's bonding time. Like I go with my dad and my nephews. Like when Force Awakens was in theaters, that's who I went with. Because we all love Star Wars, and it's just like,
Yeah.
man, and like yeah, we can watch movies at home, but going to like the theater, it was just such a good bonding moment with everybody together. So
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, I would always go with my dad, right? Because he's the one that got me into Star Wars. Like obviously, like he got me into a lot of stuff that I'm into, obviously. But like Star Wars is like the thing he and I like bond a lot about. So
yeah.
like every time there's a new movie, I always go with him to watch it. You know, so
Yeah.
it's for the first time. So it's yeah.
We definitely
good-
don't want him to
good
go
stuff.
away. We do not want him to go away.
No.
But yeah, well said. That was very good.
Just a little bit of a tangent there for you guys. A little bit of a little thing, but it happens from time to time.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
We were in movie news.
Movie news. We're not done yet. We were talking about Venom 2, and then somehow we got onto that thing.
Movie theaters. Yeah.
That tangent for movie theaters. Spider-Man: Homecoming pushes Doctor Strange 2 to 2022 as Disney and Sony team on release date changes. So there's gonna be some Marvel movie changes. Spider-Man: Homecoming, the third one, whatever it's gonna be called, in the third movie in the Tom Holland trilogy, is coming out November 5th, 2021, instead of their July 16th original date. And then Disney also announced that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness would no longer be on November 5th, 2021, because obviously Spider-Man is taking that slot now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're bumping up, or no, they're bumping back, not up. I saw March and thought they were bumping it back or up, but they're moving it back to 2022. So originally Doctor Strange 2 was going to come out on 2021, but now it's coming out in 2022. And we have to keep in mind that Disney is co-financing the next Tom Holland Sony Spider-Man movie at 25%. So he'll appear in another Disney Marvel movie, which obviously we don't know of yet. But in other Spider-Man news, Sony also reported that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, or the sequel, is opening on October 7th, 2022, instead of April 2nd or April 8th, 2022. So lots of movies getting bumped. Taika Waititi's Thor: Love and Thunder originally was supposed to come out on February 18th, moves up a week to pre-Valentine's Day. What else we got here? Uncharted will open up. Tom Holland's Uncharted will open up July 16th, 2021, which moved up from October 8th, 2021. And just a bunch of other movies are getting shifted around, which obviously makes sense because of what's going on, like I said earlier. But yeah, that's it for those movies. The final thing that I have here is more movies being pushed back. Mission Impossible 7 is being pushed back for months. It was supposed to, or it will open now on November 19th, 2021. It was originally slated for July 23rd, 2021. And now that date, July 23rd, 2021, is gonna be the one for the Tomorrow War, which is a sci-fi movie starring Chris Pratt, which is supposed to come out later this year, but obviously it's being bumped. Dungeons and Dragons, the movie, is being bumped from November 19th, 2021 to May 27th, 2022.
That was going to be our debut, goddammit. I'm kidding. We were all going to be on screen. That's the announcement, guys. We were going to be in that movie. No, I'm kidding. That would be so bad.
Yeah, we're in the D&D movie.
Everybody's in it. Everybody. We got Jedrick.
Yeah.
I'm in there as a cameo. No.
As a cameo.
I'm the fat dude with a hood on.
So the D&D movie is getting bumped from November 19th, 2021 to May 27th, 2022. Mission Impossible 8 has also been impacted. It was coming out November 4th, 2022, or it is coming out now November 4th, 2022, instead of August 5th, 2022. When I read off these dates, it seems like 2022 is like so long from now, but it's only 2 years away.
Yeah, it's not as far as you think.
Yeah, when I read it, it's like, man, that seems like that's gonna take a while for us to get there. I look at the date. Nope, we're only 2 years away from that.
We're like a month short of being halfway through with this shit year. So.
Yeah, dude, with this piece of shit year, right? But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. It's just dates being shifted and
things being pushed back.
Things being pushed, things being moved. That's it. That's all I got. So. There's not a whole lot of news going on right now, but that's to be expected of because of what's happening. So that's why it's also okay for us to get into a little bit of tangents here and there, because
yeah, we gotta fill time.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on right now. So
yeah, we gotta chat, man. We gotta give you a good show, and sometimes just being random and ranting and talking about the things we love is why you're here. So
yeah, such as the fucking. The King of the Hill
Chuck
special,
Mangione,
right?
Man, he's coming.
Yeah, Chuck Mangione from King of the Hill.
He's coming for you.
Fucking Chuck Mangione, I can't.
Oh, God. Ba, 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 da, da, da. Oh my lord. Ba, da, 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 da. That's Chuck Mangione music.
So 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 we good then? You want to
No,
move on?
we can move on.
No, I was just wondering because I don't know if you had anything else.
Oh
Okay.
no, you took the only thing
So-
I had, which was the Dungeons and Dragons bit.
Okay. All right. Cool. So we are going to be heading into the main topic now,
Yep.
which is homebrewing in D&D, and which, talking about Dungeons and Dragons, that's a perfect segue into our main topic.
Yeah.
Homebrewing, which is something that I am not too familiar with. Like I should say something that I'm not too experienced in, because
Yeah, you're more familiar with it than you think.
yeah, I am familiar with it, but it's not something that I necessarily have messed around with, I should say, a whole lot of. So this will be just as a learning and interesting episode for me as it will for all of you out there who are watching. Which thank you for watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. So thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, guys.
But without further ado, I'll let Josh take it away from here, because yeah.
I wanted to do more prep for this. Unfortunately, I got really busy and didn't get to as much as I wanted to. But I have an article here that I'm gonna read it because they do a really nice job of explaining it. And I'm gonna give you the website. It's called catsanddice.com.
Cats and dice.
I was like, where's a good place that summarizes what this is? And this kind of does it fairly well. There's the link in the chat if anybody that wants to look at it. But Homebrew D&D 5e, what does it all mean? So they have an article on here, and here's a short definition of homebrew as it relates to Dungeons and Dragons. Any content within a Dungeons and Dragons game that cannot be found in an official rulebook is technically homebrewing. And how do you know if it's official? Well, if it's published by the Wizards of the Coast. So, really, almost pretty much our entire D&D game is homebrew.
Is homebrew.
Exactly. Right. The world is my world. I made it. That's homebrew. Daniel, when you made your background for Jedrick,
I was
homebrewed.
Gonna say, I did. Yeah, I technically did. Yeah. Because I chose a background that was not, a ordinary one.
Exactly. So in other words, any unofficial content is homebrew. It's worth noting that you can create your own campaign or your own one-shot and have that be the only thing that's ever homebrew. Many games that are available on the Dungeon Masters Guild. For those of you that don't know what the Dungeon Masters Guild is, it's a place for people who make their own content and put it up there either for sale or for free, so they can make a few bucks off their hobby. There's a lot. Just go check it out. The DMsGuild.com, DMSGuild.com. There's a ton of things on there for free and stuff you can pay for that just adds so much to your D&D games. There's items, there's maps, there's new classes, there's all sorts of things on there. So,
there's so in the article it talks about, like, a few different things, like starting small, getting feedback, using others' content first.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go ahead and talk about that stuff in however order. So
I'm just gonna give you a few tips for homebrewing stuff. I'm gonna give you a few websites to look at as well. The Unearthed Arcana Reddit, subreddit. I'm gonna link it into the chat here. I'm on this website almost every day, looking at stuff that people post on there. Do you know Toast Knight's Dragon Knight class that he plays in our D&D game? That came from Unearthed Arcana. People make, and they take it very seriously over here, by the way. They make their thing. It can be a class, it can be an item, it can be a monster, it can be a spell, it can be anything. And they'll post it on Unearthed Arcana, and they'll get feedback on it. You kind of have to have a little bit of a thick skin. Well, not necessarily a thick skin, but you got to be able to take criticism well. If you
Yeah, I
kinda,
was gonna say you gotta take criticism, right? Because
uh,
yeah,
because that's the only way it's gonna get good. See, the biggest thing with homebrewing that you have to be careful with is you want to make something that's cool and awesome, but isn't gonna completely break the game and make it super easy. You know how we talked about mods on the Modding Madness episode? That's kind of what homebrewing is for certain things, right? You're taking something, making it, and putting it in your game. It's a mod without needing mod tools. You just need to understand the system. And I think the DM's hand guide might go into a bit about homebrewing. It's definitely got stuff about creating your world, which we've had episodes about world building before.
Check those out.
But let's see, what's some good examples that we use in our game of homebrewing? Well, Daniel's background is completely homebrewed for him.
Sure is.
Garuk's sword, his magical sword's homebrewed. Yeah, what were you gonna say, sir?
No, I was looking at the backgrounds when I was creating the character, and I was like, well, I don't really like one in particular, but I like aspects of a couple of these, so I kind of just like mashed them together to make another one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's what homebrewing is. Homebrewing is like, since we're big Star Wars nerds, right? Let's say I wanted to fit a Jedi into D&D somehow. I could homebrew that class. I could make that class. Like, I would need feedback on it to make sure it's fair and balanced, but that's something I could completely do. That's completely within the realm of possibility. I've never made my own class. I want to at some point. I have ideas for classes I want to do. I have an idea for a puppeteer class I want to make that's a bard. That I would really love to make one day. I've talked to Jake about it a few times, but I've never really done it. Just because I've never done a class. I think taking on a class is kind of a huge undertaking, a little bit. I mostly deal with making my own homebrewed world. Now I'm more interested in making my own homebrewed gods. Maybe the next time we start a new campaign or something like that, I will have completely homebrewed gods instead of just Egyptian taking the Egyptian pantheon. Exactly.
Yeah.
I really like making items and weapons. Jake's sword that Garuk uses, the Destiny's End, that's completely homebrewed. And the thing we should start with is just like, the best way to start homebrewing is to look at what already exists, right? So when Garuk kind of learned, he was trying to learn some magic. Specifically, I think Jake was going for a feat. And while I think a feat is cool, I really wanted to do something for him that's more unique and kind of tailored to Garuk, just for him. So when he hit that last roll on his trying to learn magic rolls that we were doing with Fiernan, I just gave him a basic form of magic missile to start with until I could homebrew something up for him. And then I worked on making a new spell that's just uniquely Garuk. It fits his character. It takes the shape of something he's familiar with. It's still kind of magic missile-ish. It's more of like a magic shotgun missile kind of deal.
Come on, hey, take a load of my magic shotgun.
Exactly. Like, it shatters and does like a little bit of AoE damage. It's really cool. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to do like a whole class either, by the way, for homebrewing. You can do subclasses that fit within a thing. I feel like classes, like a whole class is like a massive undertaking, but a subclass, you just kind of got to make it fit, like the overall class. I would like to do that someday. I've never actually done it. But yeah, mostly where I like to homebrew is just items. I really like messing around with different items. I like looking at old items as well and kind of changing and bringing them into the new world kind of deal.
Gotcha.
The Griffin Saddlebag, by the way, if you guys haven't ever heard of it, is a fellow that makes just a ton of homebrew items for D&D. He's got his own subreddit called Reddit the Griffin's Saddlebag. I'm gonna link that in the chat for anybody that's interested in it. But yeah, the biggest thing is like and this is just goes for D&D in general, is like steal from the things you love. Yeah. So like if you like a sword from like Lord of the Rings, for example.
Yeah.
Look at it. Try to determine how strong it would be. Does it have any kind of magical properties that maybe in the fiction from Lord of the Rings that it does? And then figure out a way to port it over into D&D, and you can totally do that. What else is there? Well, when I make new monsters, for example, I'll look at something that already exists, similar to what I want. I think when we first started playing, there was a monster I wanted to make. I never made it, but it was supposed to be kind of like a vampire, but not quite.
It ended up being Handsome Bob. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was not Handsome Bob.
Just fucking around.
But I had read it in a book that's over there on my desk, but I'm not gonna get up on my end table, I should say, not my desk, over there. And it was called like a Vampire. And it was almost like a zombie vampire deal that had like these slaves that were addicted to its blood. And I was like, how can I put this in D&D? I really wanted to, but I could never find. And so what I did when I wanted to try to put it in there, I never did it. But what I was doing when I wanted to was like I was looking at things that might have similar abilities to that already exist in D&D. I was looking at vampires, right? I was looking at werewolves. I was looking at things of those natures, the werepigs, all the things that could like change shape and dealt with kind of like blood and like charming other creatures kind of deal.
Yeah.
I should revisit that at some point. That'd be fun. But yeah. I'm gonna read some of these tips here on the cats and dice as well for you. So tip number 1 is use other people's content. It says, I know you're excited to get your homebrew content out there. Without a lot of experience, though, it can be difficult to understand what makes good homebrew content. So I'm going to stop there for just a second to talk about the first few things you make. They're probably going to suck. Don't take them personally. You probably don't have a lot of experience doing it. You're going to probably overbalance it and make it too weak, or you're going to make it incredibly far too powerful and break your game. That's why a lot of homebrew content people post on Unearthed Arcana subreddit and get it tested, because people test stuff out there all the time. And there's also ways to test it yourself in the book to do that, like just sitting there and doing attack after attack after attack and seeing how the dice add up and stuff like that. So that's a way that you can do it. Don't get this into ardent if you fail the first few times. Something is like, but you got to figure out a way to balance it. So let's talk about the next part of this. It says, if you make an item, you want to balance it, right? Don't make it so overpowered your game no longer has any challenges. Similarly, you don't want to make a monster that can kill your players in one round, or vice versa. As a new player, this is something you might not know how to do really yet. Balancing a monster, even now with all the experience I have, is really hard. And you want to know the reason why it's so hard? Is anything that could give you guys a challenge could kill Tyler in one shot. So I have to be very careful.
Which he's been knocked out a few times.
Yes. It's still something that's really hard to do because that's the nature of his class, is very glass cannon. And I obviously don't want to go around just killing players in one shot. That's going to ruin their fun. So you have to figure out a way to give everybody a challenge without necessarily destroying them outright. Death is a very real possibility. Yes, I want it to have meaning and have threat, but I also want it to be fucking fair. I'm not gonna go in and be cheap and just knock you out. I might do that on rare occasions. There might be something that you just run into without enough warning that's just gonna obliterate you. It's possible that Jedrick could turn a corner one day and there's a Tarask. How? I don't know, because they're as big as Godzilla, but it could happen. And he just gets obliterated in one hit. It could happen. If he walks right past if he walks right past the sign that says caution, giant ass Tarask ahead, and he just blows Tarask, I don't believe that.
Which I should be able to look up and see it.
Exactly. But yeah. But that's actually the biggest, literally, that's my biggest challenge every week, is trying to figure out a fight that's not going to completely obliterate you guys while still giving you a challenge. And that's just a DM thing in general. And it's something that comes with experience.
I could imagine that is like really, really difficult to do for sure. I couldn't even imagine.
Another thing is we play with 6 players, and so I have to balance for 6 different players, which is also really hard.
Yeah, it's funny because I was saying I could and I can't imagine, but you get what I mean. Like it's something that is definitely a very difficult thing to do because, like you said, you have all these different classes, all these different players, and you gotta like make it a challenge or try to make it a challenge for everyone. But then if somebody's if you have a character like Fiernan, then he's just gonna get fucked up all the time, dude. But it's I don't know. It is tough. I don't envy your job there with trying to figure all this shit out.
Well, here's the thing that DMs do. Some do, not all of them do this, but sometimes you'll have an encounter and the fight's happening, and you'll notice like, all right, this is way too easy than what I intended it to be. You kind of have to, or it's too hard. You kind of have to balance in the moment. And the way I kind of do that is I'll either raise HP a little bit on something, or lower HP a little bit on something. If I want it to fit what it's supposed to be, right? It's not like I'm not cheating to just be like, I want to win because I'm the DM. I don't win. That's not the point. The point is to give you guys a challenge, and for it to be fun. I won't always do this. Obviously, if you're raffle stomping a bunch of idiots into the ground, sometimes that's what you need in that moment. You need to stomp and beat the shit out of whatever's coming at you, because you're still ultimately heroes in the world. But if you do that all the time, the game's not going to be fun, right? So you got to be careful when you do it. It's a DM tool. I don't use it very often, but it is a thing that you can do in the moment, just on difficulty. And you can do the same thing with homebrews.
On the fly,
yeah. That's kind of usually the easiest way to adjust an encounter in the middle of a fight, is just lower HP a bit if the fight's going too hard, or raise it up a bit if it's being too easy for you intend. Another thing I've done before, I feel like I'm getting a little off topic of homebrewing, but
no, go for it.
Another thing I've done before is I'll just give a monster a weak spot, and you guys are usually pretty good at spotting it. I'll kind of draw attention to, it's got like a limp on its right side for some reason or something like that. You'll notice. And you'll start hitting in that spot, and I'll have you do a little extra damage when you do it. Things like that. Cool, to kind of adjust in the moment. Spells, I haven't homebrewed spells too much. I think Tyler does that a lot. And maybe next time when we start having guests on the show more, we can bring on people like Jake and Tyler and talk about homebrewing some more. But again,
gotcha.
But here's some more stuff on using other people's contents first. So there's a lot of amazing homebrew content out there already. And to find some of it, you can find them on Pinterest. You can find them on the DM's Guild. You can find it on Unearthed Arcana.
I mean, I'm sure you can find them everywhere. Just about anywhere. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But here's why it's a good idea. You might want to start with that. So when you use someone else's content first that they've made, you will start to understand what makes that content good. And I'm going to use the Dragon Knight class as an example for this, because I personally feel that the class that Toast Knight plays in our In Frozen Decimation is probably one of the most balanced homebrews I've ever seen. And the reason it's like that is because the guy that made it put up feedback. The guy that made it made patch notes. The guy that made it updates it and keeps it up to date. It's had so many different versions to its current date. And you can just, when he plays it, you can feel it and see how balanced it really is. Toast is really good at maximizing its strengths and minimizing its weaknesses. So it might seem very strong and powerful, but that's because he's played it enough that he realizes how to make the most of it. I really enjoy that class, and I would love to play it if I ever get to be a player in a game. I would love to play a Dragon Knight. I'd try out one of the other disciplines too. Yeah, GM Binder is a good place. There's so many. There's so many places out there where you can find good homebrew content. But D&D Beyond, they have an entire form set out there for homebrew stuff. You can make your own homebrew stuff on D&D Beyond as well. So check that out as well. The next tip, which is tip number 2, which is to start small. Change just one thing about an official item or monster, and you'll have made your first piece of homebrew content. If you introduce a healing potion, for example, you might change one of the dice that the player uses to heal, or you might make it a specific to a certain kind of healing. For monsters, you can change something like, is a monster resistant or resistant in or more vulnerable to certain things based on your setting. This is something I've done extensively. I'll grab monsters that my players have played a lot of D&D. Some of them have. They know a lot of the monsters in the rule book. Not necessarily like on purpose, just you've encountered something enough times, you know how to fight it, right? So I'll go in and I might change what they're vulnerable to based on their surroundings, or make it almost a completely different monster because it's different in my world, right? And that's not to be like I want to deprive them of that information, but it makes it a lot more fun. Like I have a little twist, like you thought it was this, but it's not.
No, and I mean, and it makes sense for, it's your world, so things are gonna be, things are just gonna be different in general. So that makes sense to me, at least.
Exactly. So you can take an animal like a bear and make it like ideal for dungeon crawls or graveyards by making it like an undead bear, like a zombie bear.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, just changing, like keeping it like the same but different, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like similar but like just modifying or changing a few things here and there to make it like unique or just not the usual thing that you would encounter or not to your usual knowledge.
Exactly. But like you could take some of the stats from a zombie, right? And you could throw it on the bear. And then you can make the bear vulnerable to radiant damage. Boom! Zombie bear. It's that easy.
Zombie bear.
It's terrifying.
We like to call them the zombie bear right here.
You've heard of drop bears? This is a zombie bear, and it's coming for you. But yeah, you start small. Something simple like that. Something like a magic ring. Very easy magical thing to make. And there's tons of examples of different ones out there.
Just messing with the properties of the ring or whatever.
Yeah. Like you might have it, I don't know, you might have a magic ring that lets you, as a reaction, you summon like, I don't know, porcupine spines all over your body. So when anything attacks you for that round, you deal damage to it. Like you do a D6 or something, or D4 of just a little extra damage. It's not necessarily the most powerful item in the world, but who cares? It's awesome! You fucking summon spikes out of your skin, you're like a fucking X-Man. Okay?
Like a fucking X-Man.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just off the dome. That's off the dome.
Yeah.
You know, like... Wolverine claws, you know?
Not only that, but you get the little hair for the round, too.
Yeah. So here's the next tip, which is get feedback, and this is probably the most important thing when you start getting into the things more complicated, things like classes, subclasses, and powerful spells, for example. So whenever we create something on our own, be it an adventure, homebrew content, or anything else, it can help to get feedback from others. After creating your homebrewed content, share it with some trusted friends and D&D players for feedback. To get the best feedback possible, ask specific questions about what you want to know. Are you wondering if a monster would overpower your current party? Are you wondering how much your magical item should cost and who it would be ideal for? This is actually really hard. Trying to figure out how much a magical item would actually cost, for me, is kind of fairly difficult. That's why I have you guys find most of them.
That's fair. I mean, yeah.
Instead of buying them.
Yeah, that's fair, man.
But the more specific your questions are, the better feedback you'll receive. Homebrew content can add a lot of fun and flavor to your D&D game. As you become more experienced, you'll want new challenges and to try new things. If it's all super overwhelming, don't worry, there's plenty of content to enjoy just in the official books. Just know that whenever you're ready to branch out to something new, homebrewing will be there for you. So I would think everybody should go out there and check out that website that that article is on, catsanddice.com. Go check it out. They actually gave a link to another great article over on dungeonsolvers.com talking about homebrew.
It's a heck of a name, man. Cats and Dice.
And Cats and Dice. Appreciate you putting that article up, and I hope it's okay that we read it on stream, because I didn't ask beforehand, and I probably should have.
Well, you can read the whole thing, right? It's fine.
But it's awesome content. Go give them a look at. So when should you use homebrew? Homebrew should add something to your game that is missing from like the source material. Could be a mechanic, a class, or a race, or backstory that gives your players an option to create a unique character. It could also be a cool item or a monster for the DM to use. Anything in D&D 5e can be homebrewed, but not everything should be. And not every game should necessarily include it. The homebrew content that you want to use or have your DM include should fit the overall theme of the game. If your group wants to run a low magic fantasy game, you shouldn't be asking about using futuristic gun-lugging homebrew class.
Well, right. That makes sense.
Read the room.
That's just like common sense, though, you know?
Yeah.
Or at least it should be.
You would be surprised how many things get overlooked. Or people just don't think about it. They're like, I just really want to play this. On the other hand, if you have this awesome idea for a skeleton wizard, you should bring that homebrew race to your DM. This is where homebrew is valuable and precisely the time to use it. You have an idea for a unique character, but the source material doesn't have anything that works well with it. You brought the homebrew you found to your DM, and you both think it's well made. Everybody wins. That's another thing I just want to give a tip on, guys. Talk to your DM about what you want to do, about what you want to accomplish. And this just goes in general, not necessarily just the homebrew stuff. Tell me what you want.
Yeah, I always talk to you about everything.
Yes. Tell me what you want for your character. Tell me what items you think are cool. Look in the book. I don't care if you look at the items. Go in there and look and be like, I would like this item at some point, if that could happen. Because then I know this is something you want to try to accomplish or shoot for, right? And I can give you opportunities to find it. Me just randomly rolling on a table for loot for you guys, while fun, is not necessarily always going to give you what you want. And so sometimes I'd like to know what kind of items you're interested in. What kind of goals do you have for your character? Do you want to own a castle? Let me know. You know, because I can work that into the game. I can make it happen. I'll give you the goals there. I just got to give you the steps to get there to it, right? I have to give you the quest to get you there. And it's possible that you'll fail achieving that goal. But I can never make it happen if I don't know about it. Tyler's talked to me extensively about this. Jake's talked to me extensively about this. Daniel has talked to me extensively about what they want to accomplish with their characters. Toast Night and Baba, all of them have talked to me at some point about what they want to do with their characters, what their goals are, and things like that. So, just, you know, talk to your DMs. People are always afraid to go to their DM. I've never understood this. Some people are terrified to be like, this is what I want. Please make it happen. I want you to do that to me. Please do. Make my life easier. I think people get in a mindset where they think it's like the DM versus the player, and it's not like that at all. Or the players versus the DM. For me, I've never seen it like that. we're all telling a story together and having a lot of fun, and I want to help you accomplish your goals. I'm just there to be the challenge, so it's fun for you guys to accomplish your goals. That's all. Whenever we nearly have a death or something like that, I might seem calm on camera, or I might seem short on camera, or say something silly. That's because I'm terrified. I don't want anybody to die, but because they're having a good time, and I don't want them to die, and it's gonna bring the room down. But death has to
having a good time.
It has to matter. It has to have meaning. If it doesn't have meaning, then it's just a fucking lie.
Like the cake, right?
Yeah. For me in my games, so but yeah, like it has to matter. So here's a little bit more advice. If it's your first time playing D&D, you should stick with the basics, as there is a ton to take in as a new player. And adding homebrew classes or archetypes on top of already learning a game can make learning even harder. So recommendations are learn the game first, and then continue to add more complex things on top of that.
There definitely is a lot to keep track of. Like, I'll be honest, sometimes I forget that I sometimes forget about spells and shit, dude. I'm just like, well, fuck. I forgot I even had that.
Yeah. And I
could use that stuff.
I try really hard to remind the players of their abilities, but at the end of the day, it kind of has to be on them.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a lot to keep track of, especially for you, because you got like a million different things open, and like you gotta,
They all have, like, if I have a bunch of monsters and some of them have spells and reactions, and I have to be like, oh my god, I have to try to learn all this stuff and run like combat. It can be rough.
Yeah, Yeah, I have to remember to use more is like I gotta look at my my spells more, obviously, like I said, but also my fucking, what are they called, the
traits,
what is it, the traits and the feats and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I gotta remember that, like, because sometimes I completely fucking forget. Like, I'm just like just playing the game, or we're like role playing, or we're doing something, and like in the midst of all of that, I fucking forget that I have like all these like features and traits that like I have that I just like that are there, but I
like you being able to sense like giants or whatever over a certain distance, for example.
I forget that I have fleet of foot. Like what? Like, I should be using that more.
Yeah.
Like there's just shit that I have that I should be using more. I have primeval awareness, and like the one that I usually remember is Natural Explorer, because that's like, I don't know, it's an easy one to remember. But like there's some others, and then the greater enemies or the favorite enemies I remember too. But like there's other things here that I'm like, fuck, I forgot I had that. That I should remember to use more. But
I think that's a thing that even the best of players also do. They'll forget they have certain things, and I can give you tons of examples in like any D&D game show I've ever watched, like Critical Role or the Chain of Acheron, or any D&D show you could think of. The players constantly forget they have certain things. You can't help it. It's a lot to keep track of, and mistakes happen. That is part of the game. That is part of the game. It's just like forgetting things. Like it's easy to sit there and also, because people in the chats for like games, right? They nitpick the fuck out of everything. I'm like, it's easy for you to do that when you're sitting there not living in the moment like they are when they're playing the game. It's easy to sit there and chat and nitpick every fucking thing, every fucking role that gets mistaken. Like, you're not in the game, you're not under the pressure, man. Like, you're just an observer,
right?
So you kind of have to live in it and to really understand that. That's just my little rant that I've just seen people get so salty in like Critical Role chat before, and I just think it's ridiculous. Like, you're not on camera trying to perform and trying to play like D&D and remember stuff that we forget anyway. When it's just us playing, and much less if you're in that kind of setting. But continuing on, creating your own homebrew items is very fun and can make your game feel very unique to your players. However, if you don't know what you're doing, I'd recommend using some pre-made items from the Dungeon Masters Guild or a different book first. This is a great way to see how items interact with the game, as well as how players use those items. You'll get ideas and understand the mechanics before you hit the ground running. But yeah, guys, those are just some tips on the homebrew and stuff. If you're still new to it, look at things that other people make. If you're like brand new to D&D, I recommend just sticking to the basics till you kind of learn the game before you start trying to interact a lot of crazy stuff. Like, I don't know. At one point, I wanted to play like a Native American shaman-like character, and I wanted a class that kind of fit him. And there was like a reskin and like some changes of like a druid kind of class that kind of fit that character.
That's cool.
But that was still when I was very early into D&D and still learning how to play the game. I was like, this is a little much than I'm ready for.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna read this last little article, which is what is bad homebrew. This is kind of probably important.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
So with the quantity of homebrew that is available to people, the majority of it is pretty bad. That's just how creating content works. When tons of people take a stab at making something brand new, it will most likely be god-awful the first few times as they learn. There's absolutely no exception to this rule. I'm no exception to this rule. This is Josh talking. I'm no exception to this rule. For an example of a notoriously bad homebrew content, check out the dndwiki.com 905 homebrew classes. Now, I'm sure there's some decent options in this giant pile of garbage, but the vast majority of it ranges from completely broken to nonsensical. The unfortunate thing is that when a new player or DM Googles D&D 5e homebrew, there is a good chance that they'll find the D&D wiki and assume that its content is useful or trustworthy. This is not the case, and this showcases why learning how to spot bad homebrew is good to be important. How to spot bad homebrew is going to be important for your future games. And I've seen this linked a few times on Discord before too as well. People link stuff from the D&D wiki. The D&D wiki is just full of garbage, guys. Like, there's just a lot of hard garbage in there. I'm sure there's some good stuff in there too. But my recommendation for things are things like the DM's Guild, where you can look at reviews for things. The Reddit Unearthed Arcana, where you can see people's feedbacks on things. And things where you get like feedback, right? On the D&D wiki, people just kind of post shit and don't get feedback on it. So, and the reason that's important is balance. Having balance in your game is great for encounter design and making the game run smoothly. However, ensuring that your homebrew is balanced against the DM's creatures and encounters is not the most important part of finding quality homebrew. A good DM will be able to work around that unless there is something that's ridiculously broken. The most important part is ensuring that your homebrew content is not so unbalanced that it will outshine the rest of the party. Being in a game where one person is essentially a broken god and the rest of the group have to sit there and watch is awful. Your characters will have all their own roles and should have all of their own time in the spotlight. Homebrew that is broken enough to taken away from the others is an enormous issue. Quality homebrew will give you a way to create a character or creature in D&D that's both fair and unique. It should not sacrifice balance to make it more unique. Conversely, if a homebrew is too bland but extremely well balanced, there probably isn't much value to using it. A homebrew should add a lot of flavor to a game. That's why it's both important and difficult to find quality 5e homebrew content. It has to add a lot to the game, but it can't sacrifice the soul of the game to do so. So yeah, guys, there is some tips on home brewing. So the Kobold Press is also an example of places that make good homebrew content. They have a lot of things on there, so check them out. The Unearthed Arcana Reddit we've talked about.
Yep.
Another good way to find good homebrew content is find the creators and see if they are talking in like the forums for whatever they're making, or on their websites. Like there's places on there's the like for example, Death by Mage is somebody that talks about their content quite a bit on their website. They have links to all of it. They have stuff on the DM's Guild, the Drive-Thru RPG, things like that, and they talk about their content quite a bit. If it's somebody that's very interactive, odds are they make pretty well content. Another thing is like you can find things that have been play tested and such as well. I'm gonna read the last little bit of this article, and then if there's anything else I can think of on homebrewing, we'll talk about it. But first off, personally, I found the easiest and least game-breaking things to homebrew are monsters, items, class archetypes, races, and minor character customization options like backgrounds and feats. Classes are by far the hardest thing to get right, as many times they have unique resources and mechanics. As a rule of thumb, the more unique variables in a homebrew, the more likely it is going to have a balance issue. So try to find sources that create quality homebrew content. Finding these people in groups and communities will help you learn what good quality homebrew looks like. When you find a trusted source, it is also a way to be able to be confident that you can use the stuff that they make in your games and show it to your players. Homebrew is great, and it is an integral part of the enjoyment of D&D and just tabletop RPGs in general. Learning how to pick out quality homebrew content is a learned skill, but it is a necessary skill for the integrity of your game. So that's an awesome article over on dungeonsolvers.com. I think I linked it. I did not link it in the chat. I will link it in the chat now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see it there. Dungeon
is
Solvers. There it is.
Dungeonsolvers.com. How to find quality D&D 5e homebrew content. So let's list an example of some of the things I've homebrewed. I've homebrewed monsters. Anybody that's seen the Winterborn? We haven't seen them in a while.
Oh man, the Winterborn.
They're kind of like my version of White Walkers, I guess, in D&D. They haven't been around in a hot minute, but they exist in my world. They have a unique structure. They're very fungal in nature. I think some people thought they were more like zombies, and they kind of are a little bit. I took a little bit of The Last of Us and kind of mixed it in with some zombie shit, and they kind of became the Winterborn, because my world is constantly frozen. My world is completely homebrew, except for the gods. The gods are the Egyptian pantheon. I have changed a few things here and there. There's some... For those of you that have met Blue, the big blue dragon, Daniel, that you guys ran into.
Yeah. We haven't seen him in a hot minute either.
Particularly the crystal-born dragons are very unique to my world. Their place in it, I should say, is a very unique place in my world. I don't want to talk about them too much on stream because it hasn't come up yet, and it may come up in the future. But I think Blue, as you know, Blue could kind of mess with time a little bit as a guardian of time, so that's kind of unique to my world. Items. Garuk's sword. Destiny's End weapon is pretty dope.
What you mentioned was a homebrew already,
yeah? It has the power to show people how their destiny comes to an end and inflict psychic damage on them. It's dope. Which I don't think Jake has used not one time. I don't think he's used the ability once.
Here's how you gonna die, bitch.
Garuk just smack sinks to death, which is fine, but it's kind of funny. The way that golems are created, for example, in Arkmire, is very unique. The party messed with them a little bit, that when they killed them, fucking blood and bones would come out of these, like, respiratory areas on these giant metal constructs. So that's kind of unique to my world. How they are kind of created. The way I view gods, for example, is just a personal thing. The way I view gods, I've talked about this a little bit. You know how, particularly with Ellie's god, Thoth, for example, in the Egyptian pantheon is male, but the way Ellie views the god is as female. So how I view gods personally in my world is based on who believes in them. If they ever show up, like in person, or if they ever see a vision or something of the god, it would show up what your perception of them would be. So if Jedrick, for example, perceived Thoth as a male, and Ellie sees Thoth as a female, or has no gender at all, for example, if they were looking at the same person, they would see two different things. The same person, the same god. If like he was standing before them, and Jedrick viewed Thoth, they'd see him as like, and saw him as like a masculine character. You'd see him as a masculine character. But from Ellie's point of view, it'd be a feminine character. Someone with a motherly kind of presence about them. I don't necessarily think that's unique to my world. That's just kind of how I view gods. Probably in general in D&D. But I don't know if everybody kind of sees it that way. So I think that's kind of like a homebrew idea. That's not necessarily a game mechanic wise, but like a lore wise kind of deal. But yeah, I think that's all I got on homebrew for the moment, guys. I wanted to do more research on it than I got to do. This week has been crazy. Like, it really has been, with being sick and stuff.
Got some stuff cooking up, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But we can definitely revisit this topic. I'm sure we will in the future, because I feel like as we get more experienced, right? Which D&D, yeah. By the way, D&D, happy 2-year anniversary, because it's been our 2 years now. It'll be officially, it's officially been 2 years. So I believe
tomorrow
so.
Will be the 2-year anniversary episode.
Tomorrow will be the 2-year anniversary episode.
Oh man, I can't believe that, dude. 2 years already. That's great. Well, I can believe it, but like, you know, it's kind of wild, man.
Yeah. So happy 2 years to us, and the more we play it, the more experience we get. Yeah.
When was exactly the 2 year?
I have to look at the Discord for the specific date.
Okay. I was just wondering if you knew it or not.
I think it was the 19th. Or the 20th or 20th. It was the 19th, the 20th, or the 21st. I can't remember. It's one of those
earlier this week, basically.
Or yeah, basically earlier this week.
That's cool.
I have to check the Discord exactly for it, but it's on there.
Yeah,
it was definitely this week because I was trying to time it out. But yeah, happy 2 years to us. And here's the thing: as we get more experience, we homebrew more and more because we like to add complexity on top of things that we already do. 5e is good for keeping it simple to begin with, and then it's versatile enough that you can homebrew and make it more complex if you want to. Tyler, for example, makes his things very complex, whereas I'm more in favor of keeping my things fairly simple and straightforward and easy to use. But we've messed with so many things. I've homebrewed rules. I have house rules, things like death saves don't reset until the end of a combat is over is one of mine. That I kind of came up with, I think, unless I stole that idea from somebody else, but I don't think I did. It's possible I did, and just don't remember. Or I'd seen it somewhere and it gave me the idea to use it. Just because I want fighting and death not to reset the moment you get healed. I think it adds a little bit extra layer of difficulty on it, although it has made for some puzzling encounters in the past where it's like, what happens if I don't save and I'm in the belly of this beast and I technically make all my death saving throws? So it's like, well, you might die. You know, you have to kind of roll in the moment on certain things like that. But yeah, we've homebrewed a few things. Quite a few things. Maybe we'll homebrew something on stream sometime. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because we got more D&D things planned for the future as well on this particular show. Hopefully, so.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that at some point, we'll definitely will be doing that. I know that like we kind of messed around with creating a world of, during that episode that we did. So we've done stuff like that here and there. But yeah, maybe eventually we'll come up with things that maybe Josh may or may not use for any of the games that he may or may not be doing.
It'd be dope just to make a whole world on Cantina and then just do like a one shot in it, or like a series of like a mini series. That'd be cool.
Yeah, right. That would be pretty dope.
Also, I have no idea what I was doing with my hands right there. Lord, I was homebrewing hand movement. But yeah, like how dope would that be, right? The Clockwork Cantina world, and then we step into it and play in it, put it out there for people to play in.
Exactly right. That would be pretty cool.
I'd be so down for that.
Maybe we'll do something like that eventually. It'll be pretty dope.
It'd be cool. But anyway, guys, I think that's gonna do it. That was a nice 2.5 hour episode, my friend. Just about.
Very nice. All right. So hopefully this gave you guys a little bit more insight and a little bit more help into homebrewing for D&D. I know that it kind of definitely, talking about it definitely makes it seem easier, or it simplifies it more than it should be. Because when you hear homebrewing, it kind of sounds a little complicated, but like it's just as easy as like changing a few things to something, right? Like we were saying. So
Daniel homebrewed before he even knew what homebrewing was.
Yeah, man, for real. I did. It's fun to do, It's like for me, basically all I did was I got something, or I found a few things, combined them together, boom. Got
homebrew.
Took pieces from this, from that, from this, and just combined them together, and there you go.
Oh yeah. By the way, Daniel, I got some new dice. I didn't get to show them off. I meant to show them off when we started, but I remembered now. Look at
go for it.
Check these out, guys. Man? Look at those beautiful metal dice. These are metal, by the way. They're all random.
Very nice.
Nice. There's one of each kind. There's D6s, D20s, D10s, D12s, all that's in there.
Metal dice is the business, man. I like metal dice.
And you're gonna like this one in particular, because it's green.
I saw it from when you had it there. I was like, that's the one I was eyeing. Look at it.
Look at that D20 right there. That's a nice, beautiful green metal D20.
Very nice.
I bought some randoms off Die Hard Dice. I love Die Hard Dice. I will support Die Hard Dice till I die hard. And
till I die hard.
They gave me a little note. Look, they made a little note. It's got nice little look. They put a little picture on there. Oh, nice. It says your dice have been blessed by the little elf gnome guy.
Is that how Ellie sees talk?
Yeah, exactly.
A little elf gnome. That's lovely.
No,
like a little elf gnome from fucking this fucking what's that show called that we watched? Fucking
Disenchanted or whatever.
Disenchanted, yeah.
No, I always shout out. I will shout out companies if I think they're a good company, and Die Hard Dice has been very kind to me. Even though I spend money there, but they always give me little freebies. Like, here's some freebie dice they threw in there with my order. They're pink.
Hell yeah, man!
Some freebies. They give out freebies.
Pink dice.
Yeah, I showed these to Baba. But no, I love Die Hard Dice. Go check them out if you've never bought dice before and you want some good stuff that's not super expensive. This is a whole set of metal dice. They're random, but they're only like $20, $25. So I bought 2 of them because I'm crazy about dice. And I love them. But yeah, check out Die Hard Dice, guys. I had to give them a little shout out because I love them.
Nice. That's cool, man.
If you have a good product, I will give you love. But if you have a bad product, I will give you shit. WWE 2K. Go fuck yourself.
All right. Then.
Now on that, we're gonna go to our goodbye screens.
Anything else you remember that you forgot earlier or no?
No, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
All right, then let's we gonna wrap it up for today, everybody.
There you go. You're up.
So thank you all for joining us today on this episode. Hope you learned a little something about homebrewing. I know I did. We will see you guys next week, where hopefully we will have our first guest of the podcast. We'll be talking about Star Wars because Star Wars Day is upon us. It's gonna be a really fun one. Hopefully next week. Hope you guys can be there for that one. It'll be a good talk, a good time next week. Hopefully, if everything, if the Force aligns and is in our favor, if the Force wills it, however you want to say it, then we'll have a pretty good episode next week. Other than that, I'll be doing some more XCOM Chimera Squad on Monday. So be there for that. Hopefully you guys can check that out. It's a fun game. Tomorrow, D&D, if you're watching this live. If you're not watching it live, then you should join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. The Frozen Decimation D&D that we play every Sunday, or try to at least. That's always a good time. And then I don't know. Maybe we'll see what else happens throughout the week and the upcoming weeks and whatnot. But that's pretty much it for now. Very excited for more Clone Wars, like I mentioned earlier. Very excited for the Last Dance documentary. And that's gonna be it. So thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Peace out.
Hi there, guys. Thank you all for checking out this episode of the Clockwork Cantina. I hope you got something out of it. If you were super into tabletops or D&D or homebrew or anything, I'm sure there was something in here for you. And I hope you got something out of it. Tomorrow, stop by the channel at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Frozen Decimation's return after not getting to play last week, unfortunately. The party is in a unique spot, and some shit's gonna go down probably, so it'll be fun. So stop by and check that out. Also, hopefully, possibly an announcement tomorrow. We'll see if that gets announced or not. As for the stream goes, keep an eye out of the upcoming week, because I'm not working, because I'm furloughed. So there may be some streams. Maybe we'll play some Chimera Squad or something on stream, or who knows.
Hell yeah, man.
Or I might just be sleeping a lot, because I'm still not completely over the sickness, but we're getting there. Until next time, that's going to do it for us here, guys. Stay safe out there, wash your hands, love each other, be kind to each other, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.